where on earth is Freddie? We've been going steady. We had a date to meet here at 8, and he's 10 minutes late already. Freddie. Freddie.
So in love, I'm so in love. A part of my heart said no, no, no. The other part said let's go. And was I afraid, but I obeyed. The part of my heart that said let's go. I couldn't say no, no, no. Just 1 week ago I made my mind up that I'd never fall again, and then I wind up so in love, but so in love. I ought to feel high, but I feel low, and here's what I want to know. Does the one I'm so in love with love me so?
You have a problem? Is your Don Juan gone? Is your Casanova a rover? Well, hurry, hurry, hurry. Step inside. Absolutely free if you want to be a bride. Come and gather wisdom's pearls straight from the lips of the gold ring girls. Hurry, hurry, hurry. You're just in time. Absolutely free. If you pay a dime.
You poor smitten kitten, on a wedding you can plan, 'cause the Northwest Mounted comes to us when they really want to get their man.
Have you tried picking petals and seeing what it settles off a daisy?
Have you tried mixing juleps with a stroll through the tulips while he's hazy?
Have you tried weeping on his shoulder
during Tristan and Isolde? Have you tried baking him a biscuit? Or don't you think you ought to risk it? Have you tried Wheaties?
But there's one sure cure that'll open his eyes. Just flirt with a couple of other guys.
Cleopatra rose on it. We'll bet our doll on hose on it. Try playing the field and he'll yield.
Fashion is too often considered the exclusive property of a few wealthy women. In this collection of dresses for South America, the British Cotton Board Colour, Style and Design Centre has assembled for all women the work of famous fashion houses, whose names read like inscriptions from the walls of the Temple of Fashion. Molyneux's, Hartnell, Stiebel, Lachasse, Paquin, Creed, Worth, Digby Morton, Peter Russell. And helped by materials cleverly patterned to assist in the cutting, cotton now hangs in those lovely lines which we thought belonged only to silk and satin. Day dresses, suits, and evening gowns as well. The greatest designers and couturiers in the world now create out of cotton clothes that still excite admiration and envy, but can cost, well, shall we say shillings instead of guineas.
We'll take that one.
Yes, Mr. Hughes.
May I see that, please?
Oh, isn't this beautiful?
Wrap this up. You can just send all of the things.
Yes, Mr. Hughes.
You ready?
Yes, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes, I think these dresses are beautiful, but...
But what?
Well, do you think they look like me, like Hannah Brown?
There is no more Hannah Brown. From now on, you're Juanita.
Well, if you wanted a Juanita, why did you pick me?
Now, don't get mad. This is business. A girl dancer has to be exotic. She has to be a peach.
I suppose I'm a lemon.
No, here's what I mean. Now, when you walk down the street alone, do men try to catch your eye?
Of course they do.
Do they turn around and look at you?
I don't know. I never turn around and look at them.
Here, give me those.
What?
You go ahead. I want to try something.
Huh?
Just walk on ahead. I want to see. Right. You've got it.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Left.
Her name caresses the lips with the lightness of champagne. Paris. A tower scintillating with epigrams would be outsparkled by the reality which is she. Paris. Elegance, fashion. Decreed for the new season in secrecy of her salons. A cocktail ensemble, and là, she invites the whole world to join in her fashion parade. A clé, messieurs, the guitar line, in wool, trimmed with astrakhan. The spirit of autumn freshness as seen by Jacques Haim. For you, milady, femininity in a suit from Jeanne Lanvin with emancipation in the accentuated hips, the short jacket with high neckline. And now, a matching motif in leopard to enhance elegance in pencil slim yellow. But if Denise snuggles into the comfort of her redingote shawl color by Bruyère, who shall blame her? Note how the pocket flaps point artfully to the line of the hips. There is more glamorous elegance to a square foot in the Champs-Élysées than to a square mile anywhere else on earth. In the season of high fashion, it becomes, how would you say, an open-air studio, where the mannequins arrive to be photographed, by appointment, of course. So, with a hint of oriental pagodas, she adds her charm to the life of the boulevards, to be passed by the lens of a camera in the fashion magazines. Her hat will inspire rhapsodies. The lightning effect of her blue-green topcoat will be stressed, and all under one caption, Paris says wool. So the world sends its finest artistes to serve with their talents the art of Paris. Sketching the curves of a Jacques Grief model, we find Britain's Arthur Ferrier. In houndstooth, with hood collar and turned-back cuffs, she's prepared for the strongest gale. A tone poem by Manguin waits among the flowers. And now, over to the lake, where the long line of Christian Dior waits for the cameras to turn. Points to note are the heightening of the neckline by the velvet cape line and the unusual echo in color between the suit and muff. Note too the high collar line of the jacket, emphasized by the very short reverse. The new high martingale gathers the waist of the full skirted coat. Casually, they reveal the line of patou to all who chance to pass by. There is news in the lower hemline, news too in the brimless hats. From tip to toe, they are ready to face autumn winds in high collars and deep, full pockets. In the Place de la Concorde, we can reflect on the trends we have seen, on the urge to high-waisted slimness in contrast to the side-pleated bell skirts effect. Now we see how line in white and grey diagonals conjures movement into a full-sleeved coat by Worth. Draped over from the bodice, her coat cape fastens at the waist, a striking design by Paquin. Even Pierre could take a tip. Now the bookstalls, which should be sober, yet somehow contrive to be gay. Ask any tourist the reason, the reply will be, c'est Paris. In her tartan scarf and bolero, by Jacques Fat, she's well suited for a sightseeing tour. And in her peaked hat, a delightful military touch. Can the spring parades be far ahead? The stones of the Arc de Triomphe mellow in the late summer sun. They are said to look down with a certain platonic approval on the passing of daintily shod feet. Witness now their contentment as the creations of Nina Ricci pause on their way. Note on the right the outward sweep of the astrakhan trimming to stress once more the line of the hips. Two really smart wool suits, in freshness and in line to delight the Parisian crowd. And see, we solve the mystery of the cuffs, which, when married, so resembled a muff. In every corner of Paris you find them, the photographers in search of the latest fashion line. Captive to the movie man languishes Georgette Reynal's model, a willing prisoner in grey. Distinguishing Barbe Bleue by Bruyère is the white sleeve, in harmony with the front of her coat. The tiny hat permits the final touches to the coiffeur for the high-collared mood. In the flower market near Notre Dame, we have room to study the dropped shoulder lines of two coats by Rochas, with complete protection against the weather in what you might call the line of belle content. Once again, small velvet berets crown the high collars. They promise to become the season's rage. The photographer will not miss the absence of pockets in the camel hair coat, and Monsieur will most surely approve. The flower market attracts the bachelor girl too, and we have pleasure in recognizing two models by Laforie. On the right, note the skirt length and the season's curiously racked up sleeve. On the left, the line from hips to collar. The hush of late afternoon is with us as we seek the charm of Montmartre. And now, elegance walks in the shape line by Schiaparelli. On the right, with slenderness enhanced by the hem of a three-quarters coat. Your pardon, mesdames, but one must make a choice. Let me direct you to La Petite in green. Note how the bell curve seeks the line of the sunray pleats and a smile of recognition between knotted collar and cuffs. La Demoiselle in red takes her ease in a free-flowing line, like a companion in lemon and grey tweed. Suzette in grey worsted sounds a clerical note. And between us, Pierre Balmain's design is most accommodating. Compris?
Where we pause to meet Adrian, king of fashion, creator of the style-setting Vogues, for which MGM stars are renowned the world over. Adrian is completing a sketch for a gown to be worn by Jeanette MacDonald in her glorious successor to Maytime, the Firefly.
You never looked so beautiful before. Each time I look at you, I love you more.
The things you say, oh, sound so sweet and tender. What can I do but tell you I surrender?
You never looked so perfectly divine. It's almost like a dream to think you're mine. You're everything lovely, everything that I adore. You never looked so beautiful before.
Days of the good old nights are gone, but chivalry still carries on. I wear no armor, but to my charmer I hereby pledge my all. In other words, I'm at your beck and call. Put me to the test and I'll climb you the highest mountain or swim you Radio City fountain. Put me to the test and I'll get you a Queen's tiara or a pyramid from the hot Sahara. You can dress in sables at nightclub front tables if that is what my lady adores. Put me to the test, lady, just make your request and anything that you desire is yours. Put me to the test.
Soldiers and civilians, people by the millions, want to see the perfect cover girl. So I've taken lots of candid camera shots of beauty, my duty. There's nothing like perfection, so in that connection, I present my perfect cover girl. Number one listener, how can I resist her? I've seen the one, I go for one. I went high and low for life's not complete till I meet that girl on the cover. My problem has me sighing, she keeps electrifying me. But is she fancy free?
We make a team that would be supreme with love that's everlasting. It would be extreme to call us
Perfect casting love, help a helpless lover love. Come and help uncover that girl on the cover for me.
it is when Paris in her jewels is seen against the velvet of the night that the full power of her magic, her feminine witchcraft is felt. It is then that she sparkles as a lady of high degree, and under the spotlights of the famous studio Harcourt, the most beautiful women in Paris have been posed. Permit me, monsieur, now to rediscover our models en route for a party in the evening ahead. Both are in crease-resisting jersey. Note the balance between the scarf and low fastened fronts on the left. Appreciate with me the décolleté by Jean Laforie with its asymmetrical neckline, caught by the diamond clasp. For the ultra-sophisticated, Jacqueline models this cocktail ensemble from the house of Balenciaga. Here the designer has favored a lower neckline, and the wrap, swathed around shoulders and arms, compensates for the severity in the line of the rather shorter dress. The gay élan of Paris is conjured into the ospreys in the absurdly stimulating oasis of the hat. For this one evening, the balcony room at the studio becomes the high temple of fashion in Paris. But the party will not be complete until the photographer is finished. But this gives us our chance to study the beauty of three contrasts in finely woven wool. From Jean Tesset comes the suit on the left, glistening with a rich embroidery of sequins. Joanna is radiant in a peg-top creation in beige, trimmed with beaver from the house of Maggie Roof. As for Yvonne, the effect is one of effortless ease, from the pleated flounce to the delicate curve of the hat. Now the spotlights are focused on 5 ladies. Note the clever touch by Balmain in the center, which permits the petticoat to peep coyly through, the use of grey strass for embroidery by Carvan, the youthful suit by Rochas. But there are dreams for the future to be discussed by Monsieur and Madame Ricci and Madame Germaine Lecomte. Dreams, too, for Giselle, who now descends, a vision in a feather tracery of wool lace by Jacques Grief. What a meeting of the exquisite as Jackie waits to receive her in a Jersey hostess gown designed by Fat. A gown which establishes character from the highlights of belt and clasp, which direct all attention to the face. From the softness of tartan muslin, Georgette Reynal has created graciousness. Only 2 more guests are expected. The party is almost complete. And now, this staircase, which has known beauty in such richness, thrills to the loveliness of Balenciaga. Her companion wears a sheath gown in lame jersey by Mangin, which commands attention because of its straightness of line, simplicity, which deserves the regal crown of the cape. Heim's model in lame jersey sits left of Madame Lalling of Christian Dior. In pink and black tulle, Patou makes a plea for the spring. A plea taken up by the snow and robin red broadcloth of Maggie Roof. In the midst of a flowing pageant of color, Monsieur and Madame Worth converse. Paquin, Besset, Carvan, Gray, all add their richness to a living flower of haute couture. Lanvin in white, Schiaparelli in black with scarf in chartreuse, Lecomte in violet broadcloth and matching tulle. Paris, elegance, fashion, decreed for the world of women in the secrecy of her salons. And so she walks, a lady of rank among her equals, on the stairway of high fashion, which leads to the stars.
Incidentally, just before we have to go, there's a little trifle. we forgot to show. When you see those icicles begin to pour, don't depend upon your love to keep you warm.